Welcome, everybody, to the Battlefront to Homefront podcast. I almost forgot what it was called. We don't get together enough. Battlefront to Homefront podcast with Mission United, brought to you by Mission United, of course, program in the United Way. And Sean and I get together. We get together once a month, and we talk about what's going on in the services for veterans and all the great things that Mission United is involved in. But before we start, please just take 1 second, and it means a lot to us if you could just hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, and of course, leave your comments. Those comments are important to us. It lets us know what you think about what we're talking about. And if there's a topic that you would like us to cover that concerns veterans, housing programs, and overall assistance, please put that in the comments, and Sean and I will be sure to address it on future shows. So thanks again for watching. Sean, how you doing, brother?
I'm actually doing pretty well. You know, May, June, and July are some of our most busiest months. Everybody's trying to get the end of fiscal year. They're trying to, put in all those last events. And a lot of communities, particularly in the politician type field, usually take August off for their summer vacation kind of thing. So everybody's trying to get everything in before, August. So things have been going pretty well. So, I mean, most recently successful, we had a behavioral health conference at the Broward County Community Convention Center. And it was really great. A lot of community partners came out to talk about the different types of things that they do. And it was really informational that people could sit around, that we had a lot of, speakers talk about their particular different fields and where things are going. And, it was a great collaboration to learn about I made a lot of great connections through as well. So,
and Mission United, excuse me, we're going to get to our guests in just a moment. Mission United has been around for a little bit of time now.
The concept came along about 13 years ago, but in fact, we've only been around probably about 11 years. And it's a phenomenal program that was started by United Way here in Broward. And now the concept is in 29 United Ways throughout the entire country. Here in Florida, we provide the direct services, where the other ones they're not quite there yet. They're still working through their models.
Right.
But we provide 8 locations here, actually provide direct services to vet. And we're lucky enough that Okeechobee will be coming online later this year. So we'll be 9. So we're getting bigger and bigger. So it's a really great concept that a lot of United Ways are taking on to help vets, understanding that, it's great that we're an organization, but we need a particular part of us that focus primarily on the vet population. So it's doing well.
And one of the issues that we've talked about ad nauseum on this show is the awareness, getting people to know. Yeah. Are people becoming more and more aware of Mission United and the services, not only that you provide, but the services you connect them with? Are people becoming more aware?
Yes. Not only vets, but community partners as well. Because one of the things that I do for Mission United is networking, providing information, not only learning it is what our community partners do, but sharing that information so that if they run across somebody, hey, listen, let me tell you about this organization, or hey, let me reach out to Mission United. They know of somebody that can help you with your situation. So it's starting to get bigger, because I have, when I started over a year ago working directly for Mission United, there weren't too many people knew. So now I'm actually running into people like, have you heard of us? And I'm like, yeah, I heard about you. And I've actually had people call me, say, hey, a friend of yours referred you to me, or a community partner reached out and said, hey, I should give you a call. So it's moving in the right direction, slow but steady. But
that's fantastic. And some of those services include some sort of therapeutic services. Mm-hmm. And we're going to talk about one of those today, yep. which is actually really, really cool. It's been around for a long time. And I think people kind of get it, but they really don't understand the full benefits of equine therapy, equine horses, just so you know, horses. It's not a cousin of the porcupine. I'm just telling you. Equine Assisted Therapies of South Florida. We have Molly Murphy with us. And, tell us about how you connected with Molly.
Wow. I mean, how did we met at Behavioral Health Center. Allie, who's been on a previous venture with me.
Yes.
Has at the last Tuesday of every month, she has a coffee and get together. And I believe that's how we connected, if I remember correctly, right?
I remember meeting through Stephen Moss.
Well. Stephen Moss. Yeah.
Great connector.
Yeah, definitely.
He goes right to the places where he gets coffee and food. I'm just saying. That's
Hey, yeah.
We
But
get coffee and food at our advisory council meetings too.
yes, we
there
do.
you go. There you go.
Yeah, Stephen Moss, our founding member, one of 5 gentlemen who started Miss United, even though he's still very active in the community. Matter of fact, he's spearheading, helping Okeechobee with their Miss United, and a lot of, to be honest, like I said, I've met so many people through different avenues. Sometimes I forget exactly how we met, but it's just, I'm very happy that we managed to connect, and it's really great. We even got to come out and see all the awesome things that you all do. That, you know, it's not mainstream, but when you start sharing that information, people are like, really, that's kind of cool.
And this equine therapy, I want to get into what it's all about, but this is really, veterans really connect with that, don't they? They connect well with I know some of the dog therapy programs that they use in different places, but the equine therapy, that really makes a connection with the veterans, doesn't it, Molly?
Absolutely. Our program is free of charge for veterans, both pre and post 9/11 service members. We're actually recruiting right now for services to start in August. So if anyone listening is interested in mental health services with horses, all they have to do is give me a call.
Now, tell us how that works, because it's not like you walk up and Mr. Ed is sitting there and you lay on the sofa and he talks to you. Mr. Ed being a horse, and if you don't know who he is, you're young and I don't like you. How exactly does it work, and what is the kind of the working mechanism there? What is it that makes it work?
It's horses being horses. So, you know, a treatment, a mental health counselor, if you will utilize herd behavior toward whatever the treatment plan of the group is. Horses are naturally prey animals, so they are going to either want to interact with you or not based on the energy you are projecting. So they're going to give you your energy right back to you, whether you want to see it or not. And then also what the mental health clinician will do is he or she will use the herd behavior to work into, what are you noticing? How does that relate in your regular life? And let's talk about it so that we can develop the tools using horses who are non-judgmental, non-presumptuous, all the things that we love about animals, right? So that you can use those in your life with people who are typically the hardest, right?
Yeah. Now, I know horses do return affection, you know, in a certain way, or they do display emotion, and you're right, that non-judgmental, it gives a veteran a chance to connect with something where they're not afraid of being hurt. Is that a good way to say it?
Correct. I mean, and as clinicians and as equine specialists, it's our job to make sure no one is hurt. But essentially, we are interacting with herd behavior. So as the veteran, you're part of the herd. You're observing, you're interacting, and you're really moving with the horses based on, again, the treatment plan. An example that I like to use actually happened at our facility. A veteran said, you know, I'm having trouble with boundaries. Everybody abuses my time. I just feel like everybody wants something from me, right? So, and we all know this. We constantly say, yes, you know, sure, I'll do that. What was happening in the equine-assisted psychotherapy environment was a horse was coming up to that veteran and rubbing on that veteran. So invading personal space. And that veteran was really enjoying it. Oh my God, that's so cute. Through that behavior, the mental health clinician was able to say, okay, we were talking about boundaries just about 10 minutes ago. Let's practice how you would say no to this horse. I know you're enjoying it and you're saying yes.
Right.
But really, intrinsically, you're saying that you also need some time for you. So let's practice. How would you say no to this horse? And how does that, you know, translate into your everyday life? Let's make it easier by working with that horse.
I assume there would also be a lesson in understanding that sometimes the boundaries we put up are too limiting, and that sometimes having somebody show us affection isn't a bad thing. So there's positive stuff too, right?
Absolutely. You know, reciprocation.
Yeah. So
reciprocation of love and kindness and all of that. And I think that horses give that to us, you know, without, again, I'm going back to judgment, but without judgment. And, you know, they only focus on today, which is also fabulous. And if you're an animal lover, we know this too, is that animals, especially horses, are in the moment. They only care about what you're presenting right here and now. They don't care about what happened yesterday. They don't even remember what happened last week. So I'm dealing with you and how you're approaching me right now.
Now, you obviously, just from hearing you talk, you're a therapist.
I am not a therapist.
You're not a therapist. No. Okay. So what is your role?
So I'm the executive director of Equine Assisted Therapies of South Florida. I have a disability myself. I have cerebral palsy. So I participated in the mounted programs offered at Equine Assisted Therapies. So I speak to it in terms of what it did for me and what horses do for me on a daily basis, and what I know they do for our veteran community, which is above and beyond what more than any of our team members could ask for.
Wow. Sean, I mean, these are the kind of things that you come across in what you do that must blow your mind.
It does. I mean, especially when Molly and her group allowed several of us to come out and actually meet the horses. You can talk about it on paper all day long, but I will tell you that quite a few of us in the group who are veterans ourselves, just watching their mood change being around a couple of horses I was in the observation, kind of mode. I was watching how they were, and it was phenomenal just to watch how relaxed and how the group dynamics kind of changed a little bit as everybody was, we wanted to talk and learn, but as soon as the two horses were introduced into the group, all of a sudden the whole mood of the group kind of came together. Everybody was kind of paying attention to the horse, and everybody was around. Everybody was a lot more in the moment than they were prior to entering the area, which was phenomenal. And it was really, mind opening just being there, even though we were only there for a short period of time. It was eye opening.
Wow. Well, I can only imagine that there must be times when you're even surprised on what the connection does, because it's different for every person, especially working with animals. There's not, you can predict some things, but there's a lot of unpredictability about why that connection is going to work and what it will do for that other person. Have you been surprised often?
All the time. There are also horses that I maybe go into a session thinking, oh, they're not gonna vibe, or that veteran and that horse aren't a good match, and then all of a sudden, like the skies open up and you're like, what is happening in front of me? What is this relationship? If I'm going out into the barn and I have trouble with that horse, and then a veteran comes in for their service, and that horse acts like putty in their hands, I'm like, who is this horse? I don't know who this is. So it's really amazing to see both the transformation on our veteran community when they're participating in our services, but also the horses, because they thrive on that connection as well.
Wow. I think a lot of people get the idea, they watch TV and they see, they show snippets of maybe equine therapy, or you might have heard of it as hippotherapy or just horse therapy. But they see people in there brushing and then cleaning up the doo-doo, and it's so much more than that, isn't it? But that's a component.
Brushing and cleaning out the doo-doo is all part of horse care and horse ownership. For our veteran program, so at Equine Assisted Therapies of South Florida, we utilize equine assisted psychotherapy, which is mental health based. So for us, it's on the ground. There is no riding involved. A misnomer about hippotherapy, and in some centers it's different. That is usually overseen by a physical therapist, occupational therapist, speech therapist, where the movement of the horse is utilized to stretch muscles or build muscles, whereas psychotherapy is done by the other side of the clinician coin, that mental health professional. But yes, I think there's something totally meditative about barn work. I know for those people who are not horse people listening to this podcast, they're probably like, that's a bunch of baloney. But there is something to be said.
What they're saying? It's a bunch of horse shit. Is what they're saying.
Definitely a bunch of horse shit. There is something to be said about picking up the manure and grooming the horse. But really, for our veterans, it's about we're not going to talk about the service that was done by our veteran. What we are going to talk about is, what are you dealing with now, where the horses can kind of intercept, kind of interweave their way, and how can we utilize that their behavior and the action that you have while you're here at the barn, your sense of place, your sense of peace, and how can we translate that into other areas of your life.
I'm curious. You said that you were introduced to this because you actually went and you had equine therapy for your issues. Did you go in thinking this is kind of what was your attitude when you went into it? Were you thinking this is wonderful, or did you think this is crazy?
I mean, at the time that I went into it, I was very young, and I was always horse crazy. So I went into this thinking I had died and gone to heaven.
Oh, okay. All right.
I was like, oh my God, where have I ended up? Thank you for bringing all of these wonderful horses to me. So, I think for everyone, whether you're a veteran, whether you're an individual with a disability, whether you're a typical person, horses provide such a sense of place because you have to be in the moment, no matter who you are, because horses, again, that prey instinct is always going to be there. So you always have to be like, I know my surroundings. I understand where I'm at. Yeah. You have to be connected with yourself. So if you live a life where you're kind of disconnected from that sense of self, horses bring you right back in.
Wow. Well, Sean, I mean, these kind of services, this is just the tip of the iceberg. So many good things out there, but this equine therapy, have you seen people come into it and come out changed personally?
I haven't seen the end product of people who have actually been in it.
Oh, okay.
I personally don't deal with that many veterans in place because of my job position. My position is to deal with Molly and talk to people and share the information. But I imagine you've seen quite a few people come out on the other side.
And it can be a drastic change, can it?
Absolutely. I mean, we had a veteran that recently participated that said, this program saved my life. This horse in particular saved my life because it's something that veteran looked forward to every week, seeing this horse and interacting with this horse. And to me, that's what it's all about, right? Is making sure that veteran gets served and heard, most importantly, and that they feel like when I'm at the barn, I'm safe and I'm at peace.
So are there therapeutic services that go along with the equine therapy so that you can kind of maybe dissect a little bit about what's going on or really kind of allow them to talk about how they're feeling and stuff? Does that take place separately or how does that work?
Nope, it takes place all together. So at our program, every program that provides these services runs differently. So I can only speak for Equine Assisted Therapies of South Florida. Within our program, everyone joins in as a group. So it's a group of up to 8 veterans where the treatment plan is of the group. And that group may start out doing a little bit of cognitive talk therapy in the beginning, but move to working with the herd in the middle of the program. And by say middle, I mean middle of the session. Right. And then we'll take the clinician may take what was talked about during the talk therapy and kind of impose it with the herd. And sometimes it might be, we're just going to observe the herd today. And then other times it might be, okay, we've got an obstacle course without any tools, meaning no ropes, no nothing. You're going to be leading that horse through an obstacle course. How are you doing it? So for those who have worked with horses before, we know that that's not easy to get a horse to follow you.
No, we can't even get people to follow you, let alone a horse.
Right. So, that takes an immense amount of trust. And how is that developed? And, to do that with a large animal, but also to do that with your peers in service is a wonderful aspect as well.
I assume the dynamic between the people as well changes during that? It's not just a connection you make with the horse. Now all of a sudden the group is connecting with each other better too.
Absolutely.
Is that something that happens?
Yep. You have a cohort of people that understand that you've kind of walked through this with, for us, veterans receive up to 20 weeks of free service. So it's our hope that we can serve the same veterans for all 20 weeks of service.
Now, the curious thing is people are watching and listening. What kind of people, it's hard to nail it down, but are there people that would be like, this might be a really good thing for you? What kind of things would you want to, or how do I want to say this, Sean?
Is this particularly doesn't fit for?
Who's a good fit for your program? What kind of issues are we talking about here?
I would say that there's really no limitation on a challenge. we are going to approach that veteran with open arms, and we're going to determine if this program is the best possible fit for them at entry, so that they know, okay, these, Equine Assisted Therapies of South Florida is prepared for me just as much as I'm prepared for this. I would say, things generally to look out for is it is an outdoor program, so individuals are outside. If that's not something that you like and you'd rather process indoors, that's something to consider. You are walking on uneven footing. So unfortunately, those with mobility challenges, we would tailor the group depending on what those challenges are. But, if we're working with the horses under the arena, that has a dirt floor. So, it all depends on the demographics of the group, really. But we see, individuals in all branches of military, male, female, all ages. We want to make sure that the magic of horses reaches as many veterans as possible.
That's great. Now, again, Equine Assisted Therapies of South Florida. How do you guys operate? Are you grant-based, donations, sponsorships? How does this work?
All three, Scott. So Equine Assisted Therapies of South Florida is a 42-year-old nonprofit organization. We operate off of grants, sponsorships, as you mentioned, individual donations. The Equine Assisted Psychotherapy program is run off of a reimbursement system through the Professional Association of Therapeutic Horsemanship, which we are a premier accredited center. We're the only premier accredited center in Broward County offering services. So that's, something when you're looking for services, something that you might want to consider, is the program that I'm going to affiliated with any association? Do they maintain a certain set of standards in order to do what they do? So if, Equine Assisted Therapies of South Florida isn't close to you, certainly find something that is, within driving distance. And of course, you can always call me and I will refer you to wherever you need to go.
Why don't you give everybody your phone number?
Sure. My phone number is 954-974-2007. Call me if you're interested in our program, or call me if you're far away and need a referral.
Sean, how important are all these finding things like this for you to do your job effectively?
It's phenomenal. It's very important. I mean, we want to highlight that, just beside that, modern medicine, that there are other avenues, not like me, even though I take medication, I hate taking pills. I even since I was a kid, I hate taking aspirin unless I really have to. I mean, and most of us in the military joke, we used to take Motrin like it was candy, but it's always nice to know that there's other avenues and there's ways of doing, because, not all medication works for everybody. Sometimes, that having that, holistic type, something different might be working for somebody. It might make them beyond, because, like I said, the last thing you want to do is take another pill. Now you want to, this is a different way. And it's awesome to allow vets know that there are other ways to getting treatment than just sitting someplace and talking to somebody or a video or taking medication, when you can, like I keep repeating word over and over, but you can actually get out there, be with other people in an environment that helps you overcome whatever obstacle you're coming with. So
I know that Mission United, one of the primary motives is housing and getting people kind of back on their feet, helping them to establish. It's not about just giving away housing. It's about setting them up for success.
Yes.
Getting them started so that they can succeed on their own. So with that, if you're going to help them get on their feet, they've got to take care of themselves. And these kind of therapies are so important to look around.
That's one of the things that, like I said, I love about the Mission United model is we're not here to hand out. We're always the hand up is our is we want to give people the ability, tools that, like, listen, you're not going to be here for the rest of your life. You're not going to come and see me every day for the rest of life. We want to make sure that we provide you all the tools that you need, that when you leave here, you can pass that along. You can pay it forward, because I have run into other individuals out in the community who were once part of ours. I met a gentleman at an event one time was telling me that he was a homeless vet, and we were able to help him get a place. And now he works for another nonprofit, and he loves it. He's giving back. So that's, like I said, that's the whole part about all of this is how can we help people become better them, so that they eventually, because it only takes one person to share that, hey, guess what I learned? Let me share those tools with somebody else, and so on. And then, as I tell my kids, I look forward to the day they put me out of a job.
Yes. Hey, you and me both. I'd love a day when I don't have to worry about people stuck in mental health situations or addictions where they can't get help. I'd love to see the day when I don't have to do this. I'll go back to selling cars. I'm good with that. Maybe I'll come and work with some horses or something. Who knows? Who knows? Hey, but it's hard to promote and to build self-sufficiency without a healthy self. So that's part of what you need to do. And I also want to mention, I know you said we don't do handouts, we don't do those things. But if you're in an emergency situation, it doesn't mean don't call. I don't want people to think that if you have an emergency, call, because if you can't help, you will find people that can help.
You betcha. That's one of the things that you know, I've said it before in different places, that we all have that one coworker where, like, why are you in this type of work? You hate it. You don't get along with it. Yeah. But one of the things I really do like about what we do, the people that I work with have an extreme passion of helping people. And we're not also one of those organizations, because a lot of us have been in different situations. I mean, I was homeless at one time as a kid. I remember living in a tent for 6 months with my parents because they didn't have enough money to stay someplace. So even though it was a short time, I can relate on a small level. I'm not going to just like, here's a number, call somebody. No. We're going to work together until you're comfortable. And hey, you got it from here? Yeah, okay. And you can still call me, even if you're working with somebody else. We don't care. I'm like, at the end of the day, we're not looking for credit. We just want to make sure that if we can just help one person, then it's a great thing, you know?
Yeah, absolutely. So tell me about the staff where you are. How good are they?
Well, I would say, you know, I'm partial, but I would say that we're pretty darn good. Especially doing what we're doing for as long as we have, for those 42 years. Our veterans program, you know, really got going, I would say, during COVID. So around 2020, we really put a concerted effort into recruitment, into, you know, creating this program that really had some longevity, and it took off from there because, you know, as we all know, during COVID, everybody was looking for a place to be, especially our veteran population. That isolation affected everybody. And I think when those services, you know, in that moment kind of got sucked back, we were saying, hey, we're outdoors, you can come, you know, we will maintain social distancing, and it kind of just took off from there. Wow. So yeah, I mean, our staff is ready to serve more. Like I said, kind of like at the beginning of the podcast, we're looking for veterans who are looking for equine assisted psychotherapy services for free to start in August. And so that's that 20 weeks of service I was talking about. So if any veterans on the podcast are interested, you know, again, give me a call, 954-974-2007, and we'll get you going.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Now, I assume you serve other populations as well. Mm-hmm. I want to make sure that, you know, maybe there's somebody else out there with other kinds of either disabilities, mental health issues or something. So you serve all populations, correct?
We serve all populations of people with disabilities. So children and adults with disabilities. We also offer group and one-on-one mental health services. And again, our mental health services are on the ground. There are other programs that do mounted mental health services. It just depends on really what you're looking for.
Okay. And as you said, you don't mind a donation?
Don't mind a donation at all.
So can they go to your website, make a donation, learn more about your nonprofit? What's the website?
Yep. Our website is www.equine, EQUINEATSF, Equine Assisted Therapies of South Florida.org.
Now, what if somebody wants to volunteer? Do you take volunteers? Somebody wants to come out and help out?
Really?
Yes, we absolutely take volunteers. That's where, you know, that shit shoveling really goes far. So if you're listening to the podcast and you have a 14-year-old or a teenager that needs service hours for school, we definitely need volunteers. Always. We have volunteer orientations once a month, every first Saturday of the month. And we'll train you how to do everything. Although we are looking for volunteers with horse experience, because we need those people to interact with our horses in the program, not necessarily the veterans program, but in the program where we need the horses dressed and ready to go to serve, our other participants.
So where are you guys located at?
We're in Coconut Creek in Tradewinds Park, just off of the Turnpike. If you're familiar with that area, we're across the street from Butterfly World and down the street from the Festival Flea Market.
Oh, awesome. Awesome. You go to the flea market, get fleas, go get some butterflies, then go ride a horse. It's a full day right there. No, that's terrific. Before we wrap up, we're talking about veterans programs, and we do this a lot with mental health facilities, with different therapies, with treatment centers. Oh, we got a mental health, or we got a veterans track. And I think some people are like, just join any track. Why do the veterans have to be singled out and get their own track? Is there a good way to explain why veterans kind of need a separate program for them?
It's due to the fact is that you have to remember they're unlike other typical population. Now, I mean, first responders do have it, but people that are in the military, first of all, you spend several weeks of not only mental training, but physical training, and you're basically molded into a particular way of life. And then you see some stuff that, to be honest, it would keep a lot of other people awake at night. There's some of the things that I've seen up close and personal, even though, I mean, I've never actually been in combat directly, but the things I've seen that do keep me awake at night, sometimes it's like I couldn't imagine, anybody else having to go through that. So that's why veterans are unique in that particular field, because not only that, we're trained in different aspects. I hate to quote from a particular movie, was like the difference between your criminals and my criminals is my criminals are trained killers.
Yeah.
So, but you have to take that in it, that they're unique in the way that they're trained and the way they're to collaborate and the things that they're put together. So they see the world a little differently than most. Even like I said, first responders have their thing, and everybody else, and nurses and everybody else goes through their things, but veterans have a different, unique way of getting through life. So,
and Molly, I mean, it's the same thing. Having them in their separate track. Obviously, if somebody wants to come on their own or join a different group, that's fine. But to have that track, have you seen the importance of keeping veterans with veterans?
Absolutely, because I think, to Sean's point, there is, unfortunately, a level of camaraderie that happens out of that life experience that myself as a civilian, I don't have, but your peer standing next to you in service at Equine Assisted Therapies does, and can certainly relate to you. Maybe not going through that exact same situation, but a situation like it. So I think, it just is important in getting you to feel like you belong somewhere.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, learn more about this. I believe the website was Equine ATSF.
That's correct.
.com.
Yep.
Or
.org.
.org. There we go. Equine ATSF. That's as in Assisted Therapies of South Florida, ATSF.org. Go there and learn about the program, volunteer your time, donate a little bit. And then when you're done doing that, flip over and go to
missionunited.org.
missionunited.org and learn about what they are doing. Guys, you're doing great work out there, and we appreciate everything you guys do. And I encourage you guys, support these efforts. Back to the Mission United, you also are looking for people who want to, if they have services that they think would be helpful, contact
us.
If they want to get involved in volunteer, contact you.
Definitely.
Same thing, right?
Yeah. I mean, that's one of the things that I've met, small organizations that have just started. I'm like, I know organizations, I have community partners that are not just here in Florida. They have other locations, and I've added them to, like, hey, listen, let me share your information with them. There's a particular organization, Tunnels to Towers. They're out of New York. They are expanding, and they're coming to South Florida. So I've been very connected with their outreach lady about trying to help them build a database of information, so that I'm tweaking it right now. When they do, I'll be sending it off. But yeah, if you think that your services, or your services would be beneficial for veterans to know, give us a call.
And even if you're not sure,
I
mean, you might think, I don't know if this would work or not. Find out. because creating these new pathways to better health, and all of us working together is the only way it's going to work. It's not going to work if we're all separate and doing our own thing. We've got to get together. I imagine with your place, you have a lot of partnerships and friends out there, right?
Well, and just to speak toward the power of Mission United, Equine Assisted Therapies of South Florida is a relatively new member, but since, becoming a member, it has opened so many doors, to Sean's point about those smaller organizations. I met the founder of the Call on Me Foundation, which is an organization that helps families who have lost a service member due to suicide, unfortunately. So how can we connect and give those families the support that they need? And every month when Mission United has a meeting, there are so many service providers, and it's just about connecting, because I think what gets so overwhelming for a lot of people is they don't know where to start. So organizations like Mission United really help people drill down, and someone like Sean is going to say, Scott, if that's what you need help with, let me help you. I know 5 people that can certainly support you. So it is definitely a powerful room to be in, and it's got so many tendrils of involvement for our community and for our veterans. I couldn't be more prouder to be a part of the group.
And we were happy to join us. And for those that don't know, we have a veteran advisory board to meet the last Thursday of every month. It's at our United Way Central in Broward County. But if you can't do it in person, you're always more than welcome. We can reach out to us and we can send you a link and you can join us video, because we do understand that people have jobs, they're busy, but they want to be part of it. It's open to the public, whether you're a vet or not. We have quite a few individuals from different organizations that are not vets themselves, but they want to support what it is that we do. We come together once a month. It's not just hey, let's network and share business card. It's we come together as how can we work together as a community to support each other, to support the community, particularly veterans, how we can learn what it is that we need to overcome those obstacles, what new stuff is coming down the line, how can we get ahead of that? One of the stories I like to share is back when very few people, it was big news for a short period of time, was that they're arresting homeless people for being chronically homeless in the same location. We were well aware of that ahead of time. So we were trying to get out in front of that before. So that way, what do we do as a group? How do we combat it? Where are we supposed to do it? So we were already think tanking that as a veteran advisory board before it became public knowledge.
Wow. So much going on. Find out about it, missionunited.org. You can go to equineatsf.org and find out about the equine therapy. I want to thank Molly Murphy for joining us today. And of course, Sean, it's always good to see you, my friend.
Good. Same here, my friend.
And all of you, thank you for taking a few moments to learn about Battlefront to Homefront, the Mission United mission, and the things that they're doing for veterans out there. If you know somebody who is having a hard time, who is suffering, tomorrow's not the day to make the phone call. The day to make the phone call is today. You can call 211. You can reach out directly to great organizations like Equine Therapy, or you can reach out to Mission United, but do something. Even if you think that it's going to make somebody mad, I hope they're mad at you for a good, long, healthy life. That's what I want to say. Thanks for joining us. Remember, every day, do 2 nice things for yourself, 1 nice thing for somebody else. You'll never have a bad day. Bye-bye now.